we have to take each individual case as we've tried to. I know we're not allowed to do that anymore. I understand that because mobs don't listen to that.
But when you have legitimate protests and legitimate complaints that need to be addressed, and that is the case here. And I told you, there's certain jobs that you do that are a higher calling than others, and police officers definitely one of them. Teachers are one. Preachers and leaders of our religion is another, where you can't be right 90% of the time. You got to be 100%, and that's very, very tough. And it's not a place for these bad apples to be.
Well, all right. So,
especially with the police, because you're where you're where deadly force of the government meets the civilian population, and that's a high responsibility.
No, I oppose this officer and what I've seen in the video, which you can't really argue against. I oppose him, period.
Yeah.
Because I don't want
any injustice.
I don't want any government, local, state, or federal, to put that person as their arm out to bring me in line.
Right.
I don't want that kind of person in that role. Now, did he kill Mr. Floyd because this guy's a racist? We don't know. But what he did shouldn't have been done. I don't care who the man is, because this person shouldn't be in law enforcement. And you know what? I'm yet to hear anybody that disagrees with that narrative. Nobody. I mean, I'm talking about people who normally stand up and defend law enforcement. They're not defending this. I have not found one person that's defending this officer. Now, when you go over to the other two cases that have been tied to
not
this,
even his wife.
Yeah, his wife doesn't have anything to do with him now.
Yeah.
But the case in Louisville is tragic and it's horrible. And again, I think we can put that under bad police work. However, there really isn't a racial element to that case, because what we have are officers breaking into a couple's home, the wrong address, and then the boyfriend shoots at the police because he thinks I'm not saying what he did was wrong.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I understand what he did 100%.
He thinks their apartment is being broken into. He fires, and then the police kill him. Or did they kill him? I know they killed the girl.
I think he was injured.
But what I'm talking about is that's being lumped in, and I want to lump that in if we want to talk about bad police work and people not using their authority, to Bubba's point, in a responsible way. But they didn't know. I mean, they wouldn't they have shot anybody that fired on them? They're still wrong because they're in the wrong apartment.
Yeah.
But they didn't go into that apartment because they had some sort of racial prejudice. They went in that apartment because they didn't do a good job of being in the right place and understanding they already had the guy they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a horrible accident. Still need to hold the police accountable because they didn't do a good job and somebody got killed unnecessarily. But is there a racial element to that? Now you get down to South Georgia and you may be back to a racial element.
Yeah, that's
we got to take these cases individually.
As it's being investigated.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Now, I think we all should lock arms and say we cannot live in a society where police officers act the way that these two stories out of Louisville and the story in Minneapolis, these people have acted. We can't have that. No matter what the motivation or what the mistake was, we can't have those kind of mistakes. And we need to stand up and say we won't tolerate that. I got no problem with that.
Absolutely.
But some of this is drifting into areas that have nothing to do with what happened.
Well, like you said, I think there's legitimate concern, legitimate outrage, legitimate protesting, which we support.
Yeah.
But it's being hijacked by these people that have other goals. That is the total destruction of our society, and want to see us in a Somalia type setup where you just have gangs roaming. And why anybody would want that, I don't understand. But I think they're a lot of them, as the Department of Justice said, are hijacking this and rebel rousing people to go further than they normally would go, and it gets out of hand.
Well, you've seen protesters that are trying to even talk to these people and say, do not do this. We're here to protest. Yeah. You even saw officers that joined the protesters because they were being peaceful. And you remember the guy took off his helmet, put his baton down, and said, what do y'all want us to do? March with us. So they did. Nobody thinks what this officer did is okay. Nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
And so that's what's a little confusing about some of the things we're seeing.